Today we will be doing our Dhamma talk on the Dhamma, which is part of the Triple Gem, and we will be doing the 24 qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The Dhamma has 6 qualities, and let's get started. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. So today we will be doing our Dhamma talk, and we will tell you about what we will be doing. We will recite the verse, the Dhamma qualities, the 6 Dhamma qualities. We will explain why it is important. We will cover the Pali word by word of the Dhamma qualities, the 6 Dhamma qualities, word by word. And we'll give the explanations of what each quality means according to the commentaries or the Visuddhimagga. And then we will also talk about a meditation on the qualities of the Dhamma, which is called Dhammanusati. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanahiko Pachatam Veritambo Vinyuiti. So the first part that we will discuss is why it is important, why the 24 qualities of the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha are important. So in the first Dhamma talk, if you have not seen the first Dhamma talk about the Buddha, the 9 qualities of the Buddha, I recommend you watch them, available on this channel. The 24 qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha are chanted every day, mostly every day, by most monks who do the Vandana, if they do. And it's standard chant, and it's used in all countries of Theravada and all traditions, most traditions. Not all, we can never say all, but it's widely used among Theravada traditions, all the different Theravada traditions. It can also be used as Dhammanusati, which is a type of meditation that you might not know about, and we will explain that as well. So let's do the verse one more time. So we'll start with the first quality, which is Swakato, and we will chant again. You can chant with me. I have the words on the screen as well. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanahiko Pachatam Veritambo Vinyuiti. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. So Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo means the Dhamma has been preached well, or well proclaimed by the Blessed One. Swakato means well proclaimed. So normally we say good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. We can also say beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful in the end. Kalyana. Kalyana means beautiful. It also means good. Adi Kalyana, Madhya Kalyana, Pariyosana Kalyana. So these words mean beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful in the end. Because it announces the life of purity that is utterly perfect and pure, with meaning and the detail. The details are important to discuss because while the Mula text or the suttas have many details, the further details can be found in the commentaries the sub-commentaries, and also the Abhidhamma. So it is very important to make sure that you refer to the commentaries when you want to know more of the details. So in the suttas, this phrase that we are saying about the 6 qualities of the Dhamma, they're mentioned in brief. They can be seen, you could see some details here and there and try to get some information. But the commentaries, they collect everything and they put it in one single place. And so it's very important to look at the commentaries. The Dhamma talk for today is actually taken mostly from the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification. So you can read this. It's translated in English and it is available for free actually on the internet. You can just search for it and it's a free electronic distributable and it's published by BPS. And so I hope that you can read about the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha and the qualities associated with them. So it's very important to know the qualities and also to know the details. And for any Dhamma topic, it is important to look at the commentaries, not just the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So it is good in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. And we can take what is the beginning, what is the middle, and what is the end. So on the most basic level, we can look at the introduction, the body of the text or the body of the talk, and then the conclusion. So as we always say in the teaching business, say what you're going to say it, say what you said. And so in all the different parts that the Buddha gave his Dhamma desanas, we could always say that it's beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful in the end. So it's very wonderful if you have someone that you admire a lot, no matter what they speak. It's beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful in the end. Especially those as wonderful as the Buddha. But this is related to the Dhamma. The Dhamma desanas are always related to the Dhamma. And you will hear many different qualities, but the Dhamma is always related to Nibbana and attaining Nibbana. And so when we talk about the beginning, the middle, and the end, actually it starts with the preliminaries, and the basic work is the middle, and then the end is always Nibbana. We could say that Sila is the beginning, which is also very beautiful. A person who follows proper morality is beautiful. And then in the middle, we have some of the work that needs to be done, like samadhi and insight. And we can say that path and fruition as well is the middle part. And that is also very beautiful. And then we have, at the end, we have Nibbana. So Nibbana, of course, is also very beautiful. So there's another way to do that where you can take fruition and Nibbana at the end as well. And you can move it from the middle and put it at the end. So now we'll chant and we'll go over the second quality. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanayiko Pachatam Veritambo Vinyuiti. Sanditiko is visible here and now. It's seen by those who attain the Dhamma. What do they attain? We have the ninefold Lokuttara Dhamma, and that means the 4 paths, the 4 fruitions, and then Dhamma as well. Now, why is Nibbana separate from path and fruition? After all, we have path and fruition that takes, these are chittas, these are consciousness moments that take Nibbana as the object. So why is it different? The reason is that these chittas, these consciousness moments, are momentary. They're conditioned. So they arise and pass away. They arise and pass away. Now, when one attains fruition, of course, they never lose it. They never lose that attainment. They can always attain whenever they want, but it's still conditioned, we would say. And so Nibbana is unconditioned. The Nibbana element is unconditioned. And so that's why it's separate. And that's why we have the ninefold Lokuttara Dhamma. Lokuttara means supramundane. So when one has attained the Dhamma, the ninefold Dhamma, he does not need to rely on anyone else for his information or his training. Well, if he's not fully attained in the Arahant yet, he is no longer in need of the training. But the lower fruitions, the lower path and fruitions, they are in the realms of one who is a trainer. But they are bound and automatically set to attain arahantship and parinibbana later. It destroys wrong view and it has right view with one who knows nibbana. It is worthy of being seen. We say ditta. Sometimes we say diti. Diti is wrong view. But that's when it's used by itself and it's used in a different form. We also have sammaditi. Sammaditi is right view. And so one who has attained the Dhamma, they have seen the Dhamma. What have they seen? They know Nibbana. Now, there's two people, and we will assume that they have been on the moon. That is Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And let's assume that they have been on the moon, and they have walked on the moon. They have traveled to the moon, they have walked on the moon, and they came back. Now, you could never, ever, ever convince them that they never have walked on the moon. They know it. But it is possible that you could be convinced that they never walked on the moon. You could listen to so many people and so many videos and read so much information about how it's all fake, and you could be convinced that it is fake. But these two people who have walked on the moon, you cannot convince them because they have been on the moon. They did what is needed in order to go on the moon. Now, when someone reaches the first stage of enlightenment, they become one of the Sangha. They know that Nibbana exists. And they get rid of Sakkaya Ditthi. And they get rid of this self-identity view. They also know that you cannot just pray for Nibbana and attain it. You have to actually walk there. You have to do the work to get there. And lastly is all their doubts. Their doubts about Nibbana. They know that Nibbana exists. In the same way, we could say that someone who has been on the moon, they know that it exists. They know that it's real. They know you can't just pray to get on the moon. They know you have to fly there. You have to go there. You have to walk on it. And they have no doubts. They have zero doubts. And it's impossible, totally impossible for you to convince them otherwise because they've been there. It's that simple. So now we'll do the next verse. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko panaiko pachatam editambo vinyuiti. Akaliko means without delay. It is the path that gives no delay for fruition, from path consciousness to fruition consciousness. In the Abhidhamma, we can easily explain this, and that's why the Abhidhamma is very important. It has the details. It has the exact details of why Akaliko, means without delay. That is because when we have a chitta, a consciousness moment, okay, that chitta that attains the path, that has the path consciousness, the very next consciousness moment is fruition consciousness. And so it's without delay. It's very, very fast. The mind is very, very fast. The sequence and the number of chittas, consciousness moments that happen per second is in, we will just call it the billions, but it's in the trillions, or it's maybe more than that. It's so fast. It's so fast. When consciousness arises and passes away, immediately the fruition consciousness arises. And then that passes away as well. And then it arises again. And so that is the meaning of without delay. It's very important to know the Abhidhamma in order to understand that akaliko means timeless. There is no gap. There is no gap in between the fruition, the path consciousness, and the fruition consciousness. So it's very, very important to know that. Now, timeless is often the preferred Western translation, although it's not translated this way in the Visuddhimagga. But a lot of people like timeless, like it's timeless, it lasts forever, it goes beyond the changing times. But it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It can mean that. We can say the Dhamma is like that, whether it's 2,600 years ago or whether it's today, it still applies. Greed, hatred, and delusion, samsara, the escape from samsara. It does exist all the time. It's a law that gets discovered. And so while you can call it timeless in that sense, the main thing is that you have to understand is the Abhidhamma approach to it, and that it means that it is without a gap. And that's how the commentaries explain it, and that's actually what it means. So now let's go on to the next word, ehipassiko. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko vakaliko ehipassiko opanayiko pachatam veritammo vinyuiti. So we have ehipassiko. Ehipassiko means inviting inspection. The commentary explains that if something is actually there, then it is inviting for inspection. If I say there is money in my empty fist, there's nothing in my fist, there's nothing in my hand, and I say that there's money in here, how can I say come and see? How can I say you're invited to look? Because there's nothing in my hand. In the same way we can say that dung and urine, things that are not beautiful in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, they're all interrelated qualities. That if it was, we wouldn't invite people to look at it unless we were going to the doctor or something like that. But normally we cover that with grass. We cover ugly things with grass, and we don't invite people to come and see. And then we have the purity moon's disk in a cloudless sky. And what that means is that the moon's disk is beautiful, and it's very present and very clear, and anyone can see it. Anyone can inspect it. It's there. Now we'll go on to the next word. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko vakaliko ehipassiko opanayiko pachatam veditabo vinyuiti. So, opanayiko, it means leading onward. Where does it lead? It leads to nibbana. The most important thing to know is that it means leading onward, and it comes from upanaya, inducement. And you might think, how does it do that? How does a U change into O? How does the first character change into O? Well, it's quite common in Pali grammar when you start learning about Pali, and you have suffixes that end with the, you'll see at the end of the construction of the word, you see the na and nika. And there's a little dot underneath the end. And when a suffix has that, it actually strengthens the first vowel. And so that's how it's constructed. And I'm no Pali expert, but I'm learning about Pali and I'm learning about these specific suffixes, and so it's quite interesting for me. So where does it lead to? The fourth paths lead to fruitions. Like I said, without gap, without a time gap, they lead to fruition. So they're all interrelated, as I said before. Now we'll do the last one. Pachatam veritabbo vinyuhiti. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko panaiko pachatam veritabbo vinyuhiti. So we have pachatam veritabbo vinyuhiti. What that means is that it's directly experienceable by the wise. It is experienced by those who have attained and those who have done the footwork. And those who have attained are the wise. Now, as we said, those who traveled to the moon, they know they did the work, and we could say they are the ones who have that first-hand knowledge of what the moon is like, what it's like to walk on the moon, what it's like to jump on the moon, etc. And so we can say that they are the wise people. Now, in the Dhamma, of course, the wise are the ones who know Nibbana. They know Nibbana, they have experienced Nibbana. Of course, they are the wise. They know about mind and matter, the causes of mind and matter, and they know the escape. They know the escape from mind and matter through applying the insight knowledges, anicca, dukkha, and anatta, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And so they're able to know the path and fruition about Nibbana, which is the way out of samsara, the repeated rebirths. So it's a very important, and this topic is quite a little longer than the other ones. The Visuddhimagga says, Bhavito me maggo adigatam balang satchikato nirodoti. The path has been developed, fruition attained, and cessation realized by me. These are what one who has seen the Dhamma, one who knows the Dhamma, they can say these words. And I hope that you can say these words as well. So the Visuddhimagga has this explanation about well-proclaimed. And now it, again, talks about all the qualities, about how it is well-proclaimed, swakato. Now, in addition, this Dhamma is well-proclaimed. Why? Because it is visible here and now, sanditiko. It is visible here and now because it is not delayed, akaliko. It is not delayed because it invites inspection, ehipasiko. And what invites inspection is onward leading, openaiko. If he practices, he can get the jhana factors in a single mind moment. We call this upachara samadhi. The upachara samadhi is what is attained with the Buddha-anusati, the Dhamma-anusati, and the Sangha-anusati. So this is a very, very calm state, even though it's not appana samadhi, full absorption samadhi. This is what we call neighborhood absorption samadhi. And this is enough. This is enough for you to see mind and matter, its causes, and apply the three characteristics to it: anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And so you can apply those characteristics and see clearly with a calm mind from Upachara Samadhi, and then you can realize the Dhamma yourself. So now when a man is truly wise, his constant task will surely be this recollection of the Dhamma, blessed with such mighty potency. This is from the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification. And then there's Dhamma-anusati. It's good for Westerners, because a friend of mine actually brought this up for me, that it's good for Westerners because Westerners are a little dry on the faith area. And so Buddha-anusati doesn't quite groove well with them. And so we have, I think that he's correct, and that it can be good for Westerners. And it's actually something that's rarely ever tried by many monks, even people who speak, who are from Theravada countries, and the monks from Theravada countries, native to those countries. I don't think they practice Dhamma-anusati, surely not as frequently as Buddha-anusati. They would be more interested in Buddha-anusati. But of course there's different people who like different things. And so the Dhamma-anusati can be very good for Westerners because it's very concrete, because it involves the quality of the Dhamma. It involves the quality of Nibbana. It involves the quality of the attainments of path and fruition. And you can develop Upachara Samadhi. You can develop neighborhood concentration or axis concentration, and this is suitable to practice Vipassana. So it's a very beneficial practice, and I hope that you can go through the qualities and you can give it a try and see how it works for you. It can make you very happy. And there are different objects for different people, different temperaments. And so it's good to try many different samatha objects and see which one is good for you. And I hope that Dhamma-anusati, especially after listening to this talk, is good for you and can give you the benefit. So we have a review now. We're finished. We have Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. That means the Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One. Sanditiko. That means it's visible here and now. Akaliko. That means it's not delayed. There's no gap. There's no time in between. Ehipasiko. That means inviting of inspection. Opanaiko. That means onward leading. Pachatam veritam vinyuiti. That means directly experienceable by the wise. So I hope that you can know the verse as we have chanted many times. You can memorize it. You can know the meaning. You can know the commentary explanations. Why? Well, of course, so you can practice the Dhamma, and you can also practice the Dhamma on the Dhamma-anusati, as in so that you can attain Upachara Samadhi, and then you can have a very calm mind and see clearly the mind and matter and its causes, and apply anicca, dukkha, and anatta, the impermanence, suffering, and non-self, so that you can attain Nibbana Supreme. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.